Oh, my dear ones, how is ya? Isn't that what we used to say in the country? How are ya? Well, this is how I am. Look at these babies. These are my babies. They're a little small. Was a little disappointed with that. But are they good? I can't even begin to tell you the nectar of the gods this is. Oh my God. Anyway, now that is a Mongol. These are Valencia Prides. There's a young lad down here in Punta Gorda that says he's got all kinds of strains of mangoes of all kinds of unique kinds. It's supposed to be very, very good. And it's like, ooh, I'm about to try some of that stuff. I know we can do it. We can raise good food. You know, I don't think she'll mind this at all. I remember meeting with her a while back, and her name is Elizabeth. And I will show you the two pictures, and this is particularly for those of you that are dealing with skin issues. And of course, at all ages, but particularly the youth. Oh my God. You know, and this is the lymphatic system, understanding that the skin is the largest eliminative organ of the human body. Well, if it's an eliminative organ, what is it eliminative of? Stool? No. So what does your skin eliminate? Well, if you look and look close, you'll see gases emanating from you and also chemistry. And if you don't wash and you keep that acid chemistry on you, it'll burn you back. Kind of like not changing the diaper on a baby. But not as bad. Depends how acidic you are, I should say. But she came to us. This is a sweet, sweet soul. And she came to us in dismay because she was developing a career that she could no longer do. So let me show you her before and after picture. That pretty wild? Now, let me show you who she is now. Miss Philippines. Pretty cool. Did good, Elizabeth. Did good, honey. But if you go after it, and you understand the lymph system more and more, and you tear into this, that'll be your success. That will be your success. And you did good. I've never seen anyone that couldn't clean up their skin. And I've had, like I said, I've had psoriasis so bad that he'd go like this and it looked like it was whipping cream. Pus would come out like whipping cream. Ugh. And that's just lymph stagnation. Acid, sewage. Ugh. And you got to get that out. You can't suppress it with steroids and everything. It's like, you guys, what? Suppression isn't the word of the day in health. Ever. Ever. Did you guys see this one? This is kind of sad. And she looks awful familiar. You see that one? Look how pretty she is. So, it's titled, Diet of Protein Shakes and Supplements Contributed to a West Australian Mum and a Bodybuilder's Death. So the family is trying to warn the public about high protein shakes and supplements. And boy, am I on their side, 100%. Because here's the poor thing, didn't realize she probably just wrecked her kidney. Being young, she probably already had kidney and adrenals. And so this is really bad. She was competing as a bodybuilder since 2014, was on a diet of protein shakes and eating protein-rich foods, including lean meat and white eggs, egg whites. See, and that's no species can handle that except the lions, and they don't handle it well. Remember that? Remember they sleep 20 to 22 hours a day. How many hours in a day? 24? So what do you got? 2 to 3 hours to get up, kiss the old lady hi, and play with the kids for a minute, and hope that the old lady got you some food, and then back to sleep you go. I mean, that's the sort of thing that when you look at that and you understand that energy does not come from protein. And that's a big problem for lions. So when you look at their milks, it's very interesting. You know, most of the vertebrates, the highest part of a milk is carbon. Carbon is what we burn for energy. That's your sugars. And so in mother's milk of most vertebrates, the omnivores, the herbivores, the frugivores, the milks are not only base, of course, but their highest ingredient is carbon. Their lowest ingredient is protein. Well, except for the ash. And we just got misled on this planet about food and diet and things like that. And if man can learn anything, this is what man needs to learn. The poor thing, you know, you can't do these things. Oh, this is a good testimony, yeah. Chronic insomnia is much better than tendinitis is going. Good deal. You did good there, dear one. Oh, this is cool. You remember this? That was in black and white and now in full color. And guess what? We now have Eating Like Monkeys 2. Isn't that neat? They'll be available here in a week, I think, on our website. It's just, I love you parents and taking your kids down this road. Cool stuff, guys. I mean, really. You know, what we see out there is violence and death and video games that are violent, and it just always kill, shoot, shoot. And I remember when one of the Columbine kids were shot, and as they were taking him out on the gurney, he was saying to reporters, "I didn't know it would hurt." You didn't know a gunshot would hurt? See, that's the problem of seeing the fakeness of these movies and stuff. So maybe everybody watching Tom Cruise breaking his ankle will show you that stuff can be dangerous. So it's just enough to say that this is incredible. I love this. It teaches kids about health. This is what we need to have in all the schools, especially in the preschools and all that. These kind of things to start developing these children understanding of the proper vertebrae that they belong to, the proper foods designed for them, and there's nobody that can argue with you because they don't have any facts. There's absolutely no facts. There's no express theory that proves their theory correct. There's nothing out there to prove that. Matter of fact, everything out there proves quite the opposite, and you guys are proving the highest level of diets for the Homo sapien is the fruit, the berries, and the melons. And that at these levels, incredible things can happen to us. And I mean incredible. Yeah, I know, there's some balance in working with salads and vegetables. Yeah. But is this cool? Is this cool? We need to turn the planet, and we're moving this big buggy around and getting it shifted around thanks to you guys. Love this stuff. You know, we want to help promote any of you guys that want to write your books. We're working on our website to get it up with Hildy's and all your books that you've got out there. Still in my Hill lady, my God, her story is enough to make you cry all night long. I mean, it's just devastating what the medical community has done to some people, and those are the things on fake news you don't hear. Fake news is part of Time Warner. They don't tell you nothing that you need to hear. It's all control and power. It's horrible to see that. So let's take a look at Jen just put a bunch of these new ones on my desk here, and I know I was just over there and I'm saying, my God, because we have a thick pile this thick yet to get to, which is the newest questions. And then what about these? So thanks for bearing with me, because there's never a catch up here. I can tell you that right off. A young male with problems inside. I mean, there's just so many of you guys with problems out there. It's not even funny. And if anything, that demonstrates to the world that the focus that humans have had in their dietary habits is not working. That's created a monster, and that because they've ignored the rules and laws of health, and man has created this synthetic idea or theory of diseases, and they're after treating that. Suddenly that becomes in the forefront because of the power and money that the World Bank and all these people, the Rockefellers, poured into this, and then all the suppression, all the lobbying, and then all the suppression of the nature paths. I mean, it's unreal. It's unreal. But look what they've created. A monster from hell. And I'm going to tell you, when a lot of you wake up with that, it's like shocking to what's really going on. It's hard for some to understand that when I make those statements, because we come out of this pseudo concept that you have that the medical community is some type of God. They have some insight that we don't in the human body, and that even though they can't cure anything and they don't know what causes anything, there's still some kind of... See, we need to get real on this planet, because it is getting real with the experience that God is offering and all that. It's funny, I was thinking about this, and when you use the term the divine or God or something like that, it seems to express a concept of a form, of an individual, of something that is singular. And it's true that it's singular, but I think that if we get with the understanding of omnipresence, omnipotent, and omniscient, these are Christian words. The same three words in Buddhism and Hinduism is the word consciousness. Same thing, omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient. That's the same thing as consciousness, because that's the only thing that can be that. When you're omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient, that means you're all knowing, all present, all powerful, meaning there's only the one. But it's hard to understand that in the context when you label something. We tend to label because that's how the mind operates in creation. You have to put a label on so we can classify it and categorize it and that sort of thing. So think about that. Think about how you experience your daily lives. Okay? So let's say that you're in a restaurant eating, and your sensory, your autonomic nervous system is sending you impulses from the sensory organs into the central nervous system, or the brain, right? The physical brain is not the mind, it's not the emotions, but it is a physical counterpart, like the adrenals are the physical counterpart of the emotional or astral worlds. That's all these chakras or energy centers are related centers, because you have to realize that you're not just a physical being, and you're not just experiencing physically here. This isn't just a physical experience. This is an emotional experience, and this is a mental experience, and those are non-physical. So, a lot of times we have the perception that heaven is, we're going to go up and go to heaven. In reality, it's ever present. It cannot be anything but, and it's all around. That's the cool thing. So let's say that you're eating something, and of course you're emotionally sensing if that's a pleasurable taste. And the mind, of course, the lower mind, the causal mind is a library mind. So it's registering. It's going in the library going, now, have I tasted this before? Was that good or was that bad? All the things related to that. And then while you're eating and all that, the autonomic feeding the central feeding the astral and mental, and suddenly you see someone walking in with a gun. Instantly, through all these bodies, you have the fight or flight syndrome going on. So you as consciousness is watching the drama, because you can't be anything but that. For those of you that are spiritual geeks, you have never gone anywhere. And heaven is always all around and never anywhere to go to. You're already in it. It's your attention that's being grabbed and pulled into creation. Not you. You can't get into creation. Only that's why you have a body to get here. That's the only reason, because you're always present. When you start putting back your attention from thought and desire, you start being back home again, awakening to where you are already, an infinite being. So it's interesting. So all you have to do is quit desiring, quit planning, quit putting that attention so profoundly in this world. Because where you place your attention, that's where you take yourself. That's a little secret of how creation works. You have to have bodies to deal with the coarseness of the vibration. Because everything has to be grossly stepped down. Grossly stepped down. Because your power could burn your other bodies greatly. So you can't do that. Plus, you're always the observer. Consciousness. Consciousness is watching how the mind perceives the experience. The emotions are perceiving whether it's a pleasurable or not, a dualistic experience. The physical body then is weathering how it's experiencing and whether it needs to take action or what type of action it needs to take for its survival. So when you look at that, we're quite a complicated being. All at once, and this is constantly going on even while you're watching me talk. I'm addressing you mentally, I'm addressing you emotionally, and I'm addressing you physically, even though that perception through all these levels can only be through consciousness. The mind doesn't have a consciousness of its own. You're the power that turns on. Excuse me, please. Your awareness is the power that turns on your bodies. Remove your awareness from that body. If it wasn't for the attachment of the cord, you wouldn't have that body. Cut that and you're done. And a lot of people are long gone, hanging around, their bodies are still attached. But it's just enough to say. It's interesting when you change the way you look, change your perception from being the little you in the physical body looking up to some ominous being or something you think is the creator, and pull yourself back to the observer, and you will be the divine without thinking about being the divine. Because as soon as you think about it, you're in creation again. That's subtle. All right. Now, so play with that. And that's all meditation is. You know, we can look at it, we're meditating from the small to the big, or we can turn it around and be the infinite into the finite. And that is merely learning how to quit thinking. Quit thinking so much. Learn how to let the mind think separate than your awareness, where you're watching these thoughts coming in. They're not going to be A, B, C, D right in front of you. They're going to be etherically coming in like someone was whispering in your ear the truths of life. But you must be present to hear that. Because if you're busy thinking and desiring, you're not present. Your attention is occupied in your focus. That's why meditation is removing your focus. You can change your focus, but you're simply moving yourself around. You want to know who the self is that's watching all this, right? Well, the only way you can get to the observer, to the writer of the play, is quit being the actor or the actress. Now, this is TJ. Hey, TJ. Dr. Morse, I love you so much. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you, honey. I finally figured out that I'm not just chubby. What I have is lipedema. You mean lipa or lymphedema? Well, you know, you can have fat building up all over the friggin' place too. You don't want fat to coagulate. You know, I've seen people come in with dragon back. Lipid deposits that they have like a dragon's back. You know? But and all this, remember, all these different symptoms, these different things, simply all occur under the acid sky. There's only two sides of chemistry, and you have to first, before you can claim anything, is understand which side of chemistry is causing the problem. Wouldn't you agree? Because if chemistry is everything, then if we want to look through chemistry, then let's look through chemistry. And you have to be able to explain why people are getting sick through chemistry, and you have to explain why we regenerate people that are sick. And they're not just sick, are they? That's not a good word, because sickness is a lousy word for what man is suffering from. He's suffering from extreme acidosis and the decay and atrophy of the human body at one level or another. So, it's just enough to say that lipa or limpa It's all, look at that whole world of acidosis. And the one word that comes with that is coagulation. Cationic. Coagulation. Dehydration. Dry eyes, dry mouth, dry everything. Not good. To rectify that, there's only one other side of chemistry you can go to rectify that. There's only one other, and that's base chemistry. So when you look at the foods you're either eating acid ash forming foods or alkaline ash forming foods. Only the two. Acid ash forming foods, no vertebrae in nature consumes them except maybe the cat family. They do it in a live scenario, and they also go to the gut, so they do have some predigested issues there. Cat's milk, interesting, doesn't have carbohydrate as the number one. That's why they sleep 20 to 22 hours a day. So, all vertebrates, even the omnivores, who we have images of bears eating nothing but meat and all that, that's not true images. And as much as I love National Geographic and Discovery, they started to have a show called The Great Carnivores, and they featured the grizzly bear. Well, first of all, wrong information. Grizzly bear is not a carnivore, he's an omnivore, number one. Number two, by the time the show was over, featuring the grizzly bear, the carnivore, 65% of his diet was sage-grass, 13% was berries, tubers, and other things, and only 7% was meat. How can you classify a vertebrate a carnivore if only 7% of their diet is meat? I don't believe you can. The word omnivore fits that better. But it's like in your dogs, especially the little ones. If you feed them high proteins, you'll lose them. They'll break down, they'll get arthritis, their kidneys will go. They're already weak in all canines, but you'll lose your dog's rectal bleeding, pancreatitis, hepatitis. I switched to a vegan diet, gallon of water daily, yoga daily, and ordered your kidney capsules to start out. I began dry brushing and self-massage. Skinny hands, feet, face, wrist, and back, and huge hanging fat-filled arms and legs. Yep, you know what? The best thing I can tell when you see the body like that, and when the butt's real big and everything else, is just go after the health of it. Because your body, I'll tell you, realigns itself. There's nothing I can give you to simply a formula that says body realignment. The body realigns itself. And if anybody proved that was Roger Leapart. If you go back, his video somewhere there, he's in a wheelchair, he's a quad, C4, C5 quad. To see what his body did. Remember I told you he had a fractured right femur at a 28-degree angle. I have the x-rays right here. 28-degree angle. Healed frozen from a fracture. At the same time, extreme scoliosis to the right. Extreme. In his 11th month, something about 11. You know the sad thing, that guy that ran his Charger into all those people in Carolina had 1111 on his license plate. Did you see that? But they say it was just indiscriminately given. But, well, anyway, where was I? I get myself off all the time here. But on the 11th month, his leg pulled itself straight, and equal to the other leg. Generally, you have one leg shorter than the other one, just common stuff. But that's the spine and everything out of alignment. So chiropractors try to get your leg straight. This did it on its own. Wait, it's back. His back pulled itself straight at the same time overnight while he was sleeping. What? That woke me up to the power. I knew the body had the power. When I could cut myself and didn't bleed and didn't hurt and gone the next day, I go, oh shit, body can heal pretty incredibly. But to see what we've seen in the regeneration of tissue is unfriggin' believable. And you got to go for it. And to go for it 100% raw. You have to be 100%. If you want true body regeneration, Cooked brings you down. Remember the law of homeostasis. Here I've got a wheel spinning at 100 mile an hour. I got a wheel spinning here at 10 mile an hour. I put them together, they're all going to start spinning the same. But the fast one is going to slow down because the slow one slowed it down. But the fast one speeded the slow one up until they reached a homeostasis. And they both turning the same. You can use that kind of insight to understand oh, Marcy's out there making faces at me. You too. Get me off all the time. But to see the level of regeneration in the human body, but realize we've been eating acid, ash, forming foods. What does that say to you? It says that the ash, in other words, the byproduct after digestion, is acidic. You get acidic hit from that. So these foods create acidosis systemically. That's on top of metabolizing all the metabolitic waste and things like that. The lactic acid from the muscles, all of those. That's on top of that. Now, our bodies, the frugivore body, the herbivore body, horses, cows, elephants, and then the omnivore body, dogs, hogs, and chickens, are mostly designed to handle the carbon as a dominant side. The milks are carbon dominant. The diets should be carbon dominant, which is an alkaline ash forming food. That doesn't rob calcium. Remember, there's a calcium, not just the bicarbonate, there's a calcium buffering, and quite obvious and in your face, there's a calcium buffering system. There's also a lipid buffering system, right? That's the whole lymphatic system itself. I've been talking so much. Whoa! But that out of voice, so I apologize. Sorry about that. I can sit down to be with my friends and then I can't talk. But when you eat acid-forming foods, it leaves an acid ash in the body, and now your body has to deal with that because acids are corrosive. Remember that? So the acid side of chemistry is the side that breaks man down, not the alkaline side. I don't know where these guys live. Most metabolitic wastes are not alkalis, sorry to say. They're base. I mean, they're acids, and that's vital for people to understand. So as we create acid residues in the body, there has to be a response to that because acids are corrosive. The response is your lymph system. That is a lipid-based system, and lipids are antacids. So when you see the coagulation, that's the acid side of chemistry. It creates coagulation by dehydration. So everything agglomerates. In other words, sticks together. Initially, some acids break things apart, but eventually everything comes together, sticks, and becomes hard as a rock. That's called cationic environment. Then anionic environment, ani environment, is an alkaline-based environment. That is the healing environment. Notice you have two sides of chemistry. They both can't be the same. Each side of chemistry must be totally opposite the other one, polar opposites. That's for creation to work. And then you have all these frequencies of each side, all these subtle frequencies of each side. Look at the pH scales. And there's frequencies in all the levels of the logarithms. Unreal. Can't fathom through the brain, the mind, any of this in any degree. Not truly. You have to get back in consciousness because it's just overwhelming. While I'm thinking about that, I've been thinking about talking about food combinations a little bit as well. I want to get this down. Alright, so all you guys out there making your smoothies, and this was brought to my attention yesterday by someone talking about putting all the fruit and vegetables in smoothies. They go, whoa, 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 whoa. No. You either have a vegetable smoothie or you have a fruit smoothie. Those two are night and day in their digestive needs. And I mean night and day. There's a big difference between the digestion of kale and the digestion of a navel orange. Or a grape. I'll even make it more complex. There's a huge difference between the digestion of kale and the digestion of a banana. All right? Huge difference. We, as a frugivore, are not designed to handle the digestion of kale. Sorry for you kale lovers, but we're more designed to digest fruit, berries, and melons. Your herbivores are the ones with an extensive GI tract in terms of multiple stomachs and length. They have a huge GI tract. Homo sapiens is 12 times the length of their spine. An elephant, 30 times the length of their spine. And how much longer is their spine than ours? So you can see there's a lot more digestive need and power when you get into the vegetable kingdom. Well, why would you juice then? To get rid of that cellulose so you don't have that. So green juice is definitely a big step up in the digestive power. I still would not combine the fruit kingdom with the vegetable kingdom, even in chlorophyll-rich veggies like parsley, dandelion greens. One exception, apple. You could get by apple. Seems to be the magic fruit that when you combine your foods wrong, you have indigestion, your foods are just sitting there, eat an apple. Just like eating Tums. It's an apple. Digestive enzymes will help break things up and everything. Good. You don't get the big kick you would mixing other fruit. And you especially, you all know probably by now, you don't mix melons with anything. Remember I told you about the guy that got arrested for DUI putting watermelon on top of an oatmeal breakfast. Got a DUI. Won it in court though. And I got a call in on the radio show on that one. And that was a local guy. I've researched this. There have been airplane crashes. There have been all kinds of things on improper food combinations. American Dietetics Association, I'm sure that's true in every country, has no concept of proper digestion and the proper digestion of chemistry. So pretty much you want something from all food groups at your meal, right? That is a stupid intellectual misconception. I mean, that's ridiculous because each one has its own digestive needs and power. And sometimes you're mixing an acid digestion initially with an alkali. Which would that be? Protein, starch. That's a big no-no. You never combine protein and starches. And yet that's what man does. Meat and potatoes, meat and bread, sandwiches. That's a big no-no. Meat is, there's no digestion, remember, of protein in your mouth at all. Eat a bunch of meat before you go to bed or nuts. It'll still be there in the morning in your teeth. Except for whatever carbon and stuff was in it, Meat starts in the stomach. So when you start mixing an alkaline need of a digestion and an acid need of a digestion, what do you think? What happens when you combine an acid and a base? Just what you want to happen. Neutralization, that's ionization. It's just what you want to happen. Because if you don't have that happen and you've got a dominance on one side over another, that's when you run into trouble, with the exception that we must be base dominant. However you wish to turn that cookie. All right. Sorry about that. I began dry brushing and self-massage. Skinny, let me see, we did that. Fat-filled arms and legs. Here we are, my dear. Take your pick. Get the first pick. They'll be ready in the morning. Oh, yeah, that one is a sweet one. Yeah. They already are used to looking at these. Now, you tell me what you think of the flavor of this thing. You let me know. Let's see.
I will.
Another day or two.
Okay.
Thanks.
Smells wonderful. Thank you.
Lunch. Love you, honey. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Enjoy that. Let me know what you think.
Of course.
Thank you. Arms are doubled over in fat and hanging 20 inches in length. Holy moly, honey. I get teased, started at, I bet you do. Mom's has same thing and at 59 can barely walk. Oh, any hope for me? Absolutely, sweetheart. Oh yeah, honey. All kinds of hope for you. Don't ever think, guys, there's no hope for you guys. When you look at genetics and you look at things, you go, oh my God, my mom's got it, I've got it, I'm stuck. No, you're not. No one is stuck, not even your mom is stuck. No way. Regeneration. This isn't a one-sided creation. You have two sides. Just because this planet is stuck on the degeneration side and doesn't understand regeneration doesn't mean we can't learn it and grow, right? And you guys are the premier group that's doing it. So, absolutely. But I'd go in 100% raw. Take a look at your eyes. See what your eyes are showing you too. What's going on with the liver, gallbladder. Take a look at your body. But to get lipids and everything arranged properly, you let your body do it. There's no supplement. Here's a lipid dissolver. No. That's how people make cells things that never work and people get frustrated and everything else. Let your body do it. Let your body do the walking, right? You're just supplying it with the proper energy and nutrition to do this. Get yourself on fruits, berries, and melons. Maybe a few green drinks if you don't have anything else to deal with. And go forth, my dear one. Go after the kidneys. What system would you want to go after? Do you know what the lipid system is? What system is the lipid system in the body? Blood? Yeah, you guys got me. The lymphatic system is the lipid system. Of course it is. You see the pus coming out? You see that that mucousy lipid? That's your lymph system. That's not your vascular blood system. That's your lymph system. And it's all through your head to toe. It is the sewer system of the body. And that's what everybody's going down on. If you looked at medical diseases, if they only knew that all of those, at least 98% of them, are directly shot right into the lymph system. So that's the way I would go, sweetheart. Definitely. You shall conquer. Right? Right. So, whatever it takes. Get your kidneys filtering, get your GI tract cleaned up, make sure your lymph system moving. I'm curious to what your lymph system looks in your eyes. Take a peekaboo, because I'm curious. When you start seeing lipid plaquing at that level, and in certain parts of the body, but you could have, the extremities are the part where it's a porous circulation lymphatically as well. So, that's how I do it. And the reason I give you these stories is to show you what other people have done. The level that people have done with this program, which is just nature, right? All we're doing is going back to the foods your body's designed to eat, and we're looking to the botanical kingdom for our succor, for help. We're not looking at pharmaceutical companies. We're not looking at toxic pharmaceuticals. We're not looking at diseases. If they choose to live in that world, we need to extricate ourselves from that world, because it's a deadly world. It's a world of fear, pain, unconsciousness, narcissism. We want a world of love and joy and happiness, don't you? I do. I love it when everybody's happy and gets along and loves each other. I love to give a big hug and get a big hug from you guys. Here's a question concerning the pituitary and breast growth. In some videos, Dr. Morse says breast size is influenced by the stilbestrol, adrenal cortex production hormone. And in other videos, more recent, he says it's from the pituitary. I think it's from the adrenals, the stilbestrol. I've never heard it being from the pituitary. But is there some pituitary factors involved in that? See, that I don't think myself, my dear, that we know even a smidgen about the pituitary and hypothalamus, because there's only claim that there's 7 to 9, depends who you talk to, hormones coming out of the pituitary. Yet it is the overseer. And I know it's nestled up in the hypothalamus, but it's an overseer, and it literally turns on and turns off every other endocrine gland. So that's what its job is to work with the other ones. So something to think about in that respect. But I think adrenals always, and also with the fats and stuff like that. When you look at your adrenal glands and the cortex, you're looking at a tremendous, when you're looking at the adrenal glands by themselves, I'm looking at these glands, I'm going, oh my God. You've got all your mineral utilization comes out of the adrenals, except what? Calcium, right? That's parathyroid hormone. So all your mineralocorticosteroids come out of the adrenals, cortex, that's about 25 of them or more. So iron, zinc, selenium. If you're low in iron, everybody loads up on the barbers, or loads up on iron, and they look at the liver. Why don't we look at where we utilize iron? How about sugars? metabolized by the adrenals. So it's a big glands involved in digestion and the utilization of chemistry, right? Right. Plus, it controls the nervous system that controls these processes, the autonomic nervous system. That's a big deal. And then there's the male and female gonadal stuff. So there's all of that. So these are magnificent little beings. That's why they're so precious to take care of and make them healthy. It's confusing for me. No, to me, it's still cholesterol. I mean, I haven't had deep A and P, to be honest with you. I've had a lot of it, but hard to find the deep stuff. Like, it took us a while, like I said, to find the growth hormones out of the thymus, because it's just not in any of the books. It's not even in the endocrinology sites. So it's tough sometimes to find the truth of things. And once in a while, some university, some research center finds it. And then they're ignored. And too bad, because I love research. A lot of the research today is proving medical theories wrong, big time. That's why if you ever have a chance to order and get that Science News magazine, do, because it's just full of good stuff. And I like truth. You know, it's people that will stand up and tell the truth about things for once. When you say it's from the pituitary, do you refer to the ACTH? You know, that's what I'm thinking, that there is some involvement in that. Because that is the adrenal cortex stimulating hormone. But, I don't know. You know, I say that I don't know. You have to look at your eyes and see if you have a pituitary. Look at all the other relationships to the pituitary in relationship to that. Size, menses, all the other things that's involved in that. But my opinion, it's just my opinion, that the adrenals have a big part to deal with the breast shapes and sizes. Stimulates the adrenal cortex to produce exactly, or it is something else. No, that's what I think it is, to be honest with you. Just that. So I don't know if there's ever pituitary involvement with the very large-breasted women, but I would sure be looking at that, because I think, and then, is there any, I can't imagine, but is there any thymus connection? I mean, we're right here. So I don't know. You know, we don't know enough. The research is minimal, and it's just hard to say. That's why you might think it's a cop-out, but sometimes it's just, hey, you know, you let your body do the walking. You get your body, feed it, clean it, strengthen it, and let it do the work, because we don't know. We hypothesize, we conjecture, and there's so much of that, and theorize and all that. It's like, okay, all right, I like more facts. If we don't have facts, we can conjecture a little bit, but I don't know. But I think it's, you know, your adrenals are the problem with their large breasts. I think it's the adrenal cortex that's the problem. I do think that in some cases pituitary involvement could be the ACTH. I don't know if there's another, we don't know of another hormone that deals with the adrenals, but there's got to be. For which part of the adrenals? The medulla. Now, that could be self-serving, and that is the autonomic. It could be the autonomic reflex back to it. I don't know. Patty probably could answer that one. I mean, when you teach A&P for almost 20 years, you're going to know the body inside and out. If you're not, I'm going to wonder what kind of a professor you are. Not only are you're going to know it, you're going to be like Patty. She learns how to teach you better the complications. See, for the mind, sometimes when it walks into such an intellectual gig, sometimes it's so complicated the average person turns away from it. Yeah, you just like anything else. You just kind of let it relax and let it all settle in. Because I don't care who you are as a human, that much intellectualism is a dig on everybody. You know, it's just a lot of information crammed into the mind, and it can only store so fast, and depends the condition of your physical brain and that relationship as well. No, sweetheart, I do think it's your adrenal glands. Just like you said here. I think the pituitary and ACTH might have an effect on that. I would think that makes common sense, don't you? I do. For you ladies, it would be interesting. We're trying to get a big healing center up here somewhere up in the state park up here, or Gainesville. And I'd love to have a healing center and our naturopathic school beside it, so the students can come over and get clinicals. And we have a place, and I would love to be able to afford a research center on that, to where we could take large-breasted women, take a look at their eyes and see what we see. See what's going on. Take a look at their stats. Follow their blood works. Let's see what we see. Because there's stuff we can find, but that's for the mind. If we did that, and we are going to do it, that's my dream anyway, or someone's dream. What are you going to do about it? In the final analysis, and this is kind of me, I'm down here to cut it. I'm not from the mental worlds. So I'm here to cut the intellectualism as simple. Notice how I try to be as simple as possible always, and I teach that. That is why I'm here. I'm to cut through the chase of the mind, to make it simple for you guys to understand, and it is simple. The mind only makes it into an intellectual dig. I don't know where I was going with that, but anyway, it's enough to say. Keep it simple. You're going to do the same thing, whether it's the adrenals or let's say that, because I know silvestrol has. I saw my grandfather grow large breasts with the use of silvestrol, and I'm just like, what? And it's just not good. Bred depression and everything else. So again, here's the playground of the allopathic. And you don't want to play with hormones and steroids. And I can't for the life of me understand why he was giving it, or why the medical doctors thought in that particular time. That was way back in the, I'd say 70s. What they're thinking was of using silvestrol in the treatment of prostate cancer. I, to this day, don't. I assume silvestrol is an alkaline steroid, but I don't know a lot about it. I never took time to research it. I've just been too many other things on the plate. This page, YouTube equals YouTube question. Okay. All right. Thank you all for what you are doing. You're welcome. Anytime. When I see you guys suffer and get better, that's my reward. You know, when we all get better, that's the reward of the whole, right? Because we're all connected. So when we see someone suffering, we naturally, spiritually want to go help. That's another part of God's suffering. We want to go help them. And if you don't have that in you, well, maybe it's just time to enjoy your life on the planet and have fun with that. I am anxious for you to incorporate pets into your world of healing. Oh, we already do. We already do. I've been working on my little Shih Tzu. Because even though I'm a naturopath and all that, I'm not good at giving dogs and things herbs and stuff. I'm barely good at taking care of myself. I mean, most of us say that, at times, until we're forced to. But I'm pulling that cataract right out of my dog's eye and getting him back. He's 12, almost 13 years young. And he's getting more spry and ever before. And I've talked to you about other dogs that we've seen a total redo. I was talking about Fran at one time. She's on a video. We're talking about what she did to her mother's poodle. And it was like, what? I couldn't believe it. And when I can't believe something, that's pretty interesting because I've seen a lot of cool things in health. But, my God, I couldn't believe it. Looked like she went out and bought a new poodle. I mean, you're talking from arthritic, couldn't jump, major cataracts and everything else to look like she got a brand new little poodle. I mean, to tell you, animals respond well with botanicals. We do too, because they're part of our physical makeup. They're part of this consciousness of this world. Why would we create toxic chemicals to help us? I never did get that. But that's when you don't understand what causes anything, and you made this concept of diseases up, and you think things are flying in from Moose Jaw, Alaska. We got to be prepared. Mucoli. All right. I have spent the last 5 years studying everything I can get my hands on to help my darling Boston Terrier. She has had several mast cell tumors removed. Common, you know why? Remember, all canines have kidney weakness. They don't have sweat glands like we do, so they sweat where? Right? So they'll get bumps and humps on them. And what's happening is your Boston Terrier is losing her kidney performance. And you want to go after that. And on the adrenals too. You're going to do the same thing after that little fella that you do after yourself. But you're going to do it in a lot littler dosages. Go by weight. You know, you got a little 15-pound dog. I mix up a whole bunch of herbs and I give them, on a 15-pound dog, I would say good 5 drops of each one would be good or more. Depends how you go after them. If they start foaming at the mouth, they're too strong. I had to get a laugh at that because she said, well, I guess I was a little strong. I mean, she was foaming at the mouth a lot, but look at him now. And I go, yeah, she made it, but the journey might have been rough. So, if you want to stop these tumor growths, you got to do the same thing in humans. You got to get the dog's kidneys to filter, and they got kidneys and adrenals, so you go after those. Same thing. So I would do kidney one, adrenal gland, or endocrine gland. One of the two wouldn't hurt to hit up the other ones, and then do a lymphatic one. And while you're doing it, that upper circ, brain, and nerve in there. You want a good dog? Add upper circ, brain, and nerve. And add that. And add equal parts of every one of these. Equal parts of every one of these, right, in a bottle. Shake it up and give 5 to, say, 10 at the most drops of each one of those. So I would say if you have a little Boston Terrier, give them a little more, about a quarter to a third of a dropper full, right in the mouth. Boom. You're done. She has extreme allergies. What system is that? Lymphatic. What system is the tumors? Lymphatic. Right? And what system is the kidneys filter? The lymphatic. See how all that is? I have been to multiple holistic vets. Yada, yada, yada.
Yay!
Oh, wait.
No.
You know, holistic vets couldn't help you. You know, that's what grinds my grits. What? Calling yourself holistic and you can't fix a dog? What is up? They're still medical doctors, guys. They're still medical doctors. And unfortunately, it's hard to let go of the medical concepts. Fed her Darwin's raw Chinese herbs for anti-cancer, mushroom extract, standard process, canine cardio formula. Standard process. Remember, standard processes, granulars are not organic. They're commercial cattle. Yep, wouldn't guarantee it anymore. I said, we're done with you. And currently she is taking a neoplasmine bloodroot. Well, be careful. You know, you don't want a lot of bloodroot in a little Boston Terrier. Your, bloodroot is really, really strong. Remember that, guys. Bloodroot and poke root. You don't play around with those roots. They're toxic roots. At a higher dosage, they're going to be toxic. If you take enough of it, your liver enzymes will start climbing. She gets chiropractic adjustments and electroacupuncture for a subluxation. You got to go after no one's going after the kidneys, the adrenals, and the lymphatic system in your dog. And that's the system that this is all in. So you have to go after that system. And you can go after these other things if you want to, but I mean, what are you going to do with mushrooms? What is the immune system? It's a lymphatic system, and it isn't about mushroom and enhancement of immune cells. It's about proper filtration of that system through the kidneys. You got plenty of immune cells unless your panel doesn't show up right. That's not the problem. Is enhancing more immune cells. That's not the issue. It is getting the systemic waste from the dog to filter. What is a tumor anyway? Where do these tumors come from? Huh? They're interstitial fluid, right? Well, interstitial fluid is what? The waste from cells. That's all it is. That can't get out of your little boy or girl. It's just like humans. If it can't get out, you're going to hold it. Well, these are acids. So after a while, it's going to be swelling and pain. After a longer while, it's going to be deterioration and breakdown and augmentation. And the beauty of this, if you're already here, then you want to get 100% raw and 100% fruits, berries, and melon. And what's the magic? Watch the magic. Because I guarantee you, if your body doesn't do that, you're doing something wrong, because it's a given. I don't think we ever failed to get somebody out of the twisty-turny stuff. It wouldn't be us that failed. All right. So you're saying that your dog has a low-grade heart murmur, is why you have him on the canine cardio? I want to think beyond that. I want you to think connective tissue, okay? Connective valves, doesn't matter what it is, all right? So what component is pretty predominant in these connective tissues and valves and things? Calcium, right? So structure, function. So where would we go in your dog to strengthen up a valve or any connective tissue issues? You guys are good. Parathyroid gland. So that's why you might want to do the endocrine gland formula with the kidney one, with the lymphatic one, brain and nerve and upper circulation would be my choice as well. Any other goodies you want to throw in there? What does the blood work look like? Because you're doing everything but opening them up. Oh, she is a little girl. She has a rabies titer, so at least we got rid of the vaccine beast. Yeah, I mean, on little dogs, why would we vaccinate little bitty dogs anyway from rabies? Since I can, and if there ever was a case of rabies in someone, what formulas would you grab? And this would be true with a snake bite of any type: rattlesnake, blue mamba, spider bite, black widow, brown recluse. We get them out here a lot, brown recluse. And of course, all the hospital does is give them antibiotics. And I sit back there and I have to laugh. It's like, what? These spider bites aren't bacterial. They're hematotoxins, cytotoxins. You can't use antibiotics, so that's a wrong. That is so bizarre. But you know what it shows you? They don't have any tools in their kit except snake venom, and you don't use those recluse spider bites. So we had a lady once come in here. She'd been down at the. We have 3 hospitals in this town, and a lady came in with a recluse spider bite on her leg, and I mean, it was gnarly. She'd been in the hospital, and she'd been there about 3 days, and it was. They released her, but. It was bad. Now, the same thing with the flesh-eating bacteria. Know that those that have genetically weak skin, subcutaneous stagnation of lip, you're going to see a little more of a blowback from that. Absolutely you are. But we had it gone in, about a week and a half or something like that or less. See, God has the answers to its own creation, if I can use that cliche speaking, so to speak. So you want to strengthen, and the spine you want to strengthen. Since I came across your YouTubes, I can't hear enough of them. Thanks, Annie. I want to enroll as a student very soon at your school, so save a seat for me, please. Absolutely. I love our school. We have fun. We're going to have 3 levels of school. We're going to have, actually 4 levels. You're going to have the DVDs. That's the lowest level. Although, it's our class on DVD. Then you can come to my classes, which is me physically teaching you for a week. And then we're going to have online. I'm getting ready to do some more filming to get our online class up. That's going to be an online course that's similar to our international school. And then we're heading for the naturopathic school. That's going to be a full-fledged school. And I think you're going to love the classes. It's fun. Exciting to learn about things that make you feel good and expand your happiness and joy. We got to get out of this mundane nastiness of hurting each other and all this stuff, and get into the things that make us feel good, things that are fun for us. Quit worrying about other people, worry about ourselves. But that'll be fun. I have been praying for direction for a while now, and finding your videos was no mistake. Never is. I can throw away years of reading everything I thought I knew about nutrition. Yeah, absolutely. Isn't that funny? I've had years of that. I still have the books, but boy, that's only for show. Because or people that need reference materials here, I open this library up to anybody here to use for reference books, but You guys are setting the pace of the future in this health modality. I'm learning from you as you are from me, and we're learning together. And together we're going to make an incredible health modality that this world can digest and enjoy and feel good about, and know that it's based 100% on truth. Period. Try tearing down truth. Have a hard time doing it. I am so ready to detox kidney first and not colon first, as most out there preach. Absolutely. And you can't detox the colon. You can detox the colon, I'll use the word topically, in the sense you're going in the canal. You're not interstitial yet. You're kind of in the canal. But it's interstitial that's the most problem. You can clean the mucoid plaque off with herbs and all that, raw foods, absolutely, yeah. Kill the worms in there if they got some, all that good stuff. But interstitial, that's where all the problems are, is around the cells. Why? What's around the cells? That's your lymph system. Remember, interstitial foot. Remember, every cell stands in its own space. And around every cell is space. That space is called interstitial spaces. What's there? Blood and lymph. That's how we feed them and how we clean them. One's a fuel line and one's an exhaust system. That's how simple this is. If you don't get that, I don't know how you get well. I don't know how you understand anything. And you put that on top of acid chemistry and see what you get. So yeah, it's fun stuff. Since I have no longer to live, God will, since I have longer to live, God willing, than my previous pooch, would you please tell me how to take care of her first? I would do those things. That's like a mini Fab 4 or 5. And you could add anything. It probably wouldn't hurt to add Parasite M in there, to be honest with you. It's selective in its kill, and it probably would do good to get the fungus out of them and everything as well. So, excuse me, do a little Parasite M to that. Parasite M, lymphatic 1, kidney 1, endocrine gland, brain and nerve, upper circulation. You could use lower, but the other thing with lower circulation, a little pepper in there, I wouldn't do that. But see where we're going with that? And sit back and watch the magic. Try to stay away from the heavy meats and try to get the raw foods. Raw meats or whatever, try to go raw as much as possible. If your dog likes fruits or vegetables, have at it, much as possible. She turns 12. So she turns just like my Shih Tzu. He's going to turn 13. And I've got him on those same formulas I'm telling you about, and he's coming right out. Cataract's coming right out of him. He's a lot more alert. I now know from what you have been saying that she probably is not filtering kidney land. Absolutely. Absolutely. And look at this. Canines have universal kidney weakness. Now, my little Shih Tzu used to get those little bumps, those lymphatic bumps. They go up and down. Vets will tell you about them all the time. Leave them alone. They'll go up and they'll go down. What are these bumps? And what system do they belong to, Mr. Veterinarian? They're the lymphatic bumps, and they're not blood bumps. They're lymphatic bumps. They go up and down. They breathe. So you know there is filtration, but a little bit anyway. But you also know, but if you're forming tumors, there's not. But you also know that the compromising of that, the fact that you get those little bumps shows that compromising there already. Her tumors have all on one side of her body, including a big double round neck, a black hole in the brown part of her eye. Look at that. Look at that. The holistic vet thinks it's a melanoma. I think it is more an iridology picture waiting to be read. Oh, yeah. Oh, there's so many exciting discoveries to discover. What mysteries and secrets did God hide from itself? I would love to send her eye photo. Oh, do. She won't drink much water, so I add it and mushroom broth to her food to try and get more behind. Good idea. She's very skinny and sometimes has terrible trouble passing stool. And when she does, the back end of it is loaded with mucus like small bowel. Yeah. See all that mucus? That's the lymph system. So all the things that you're saying here is indicating she is really backed up lymph system. Now, skinny. What might we say about that. If you have a lack of filtration in your kidneys, and you understand that that filtration is your metabolitic waste from the cells, your systemic waste, however you used to call them, and that if you're not filtering, it is obvious that these systemic wastes are not going anywhere. They're staying dormant. They're backing up. So then the lymph nodes swell. That's going to be your first thing, right? And then it'll back up to the cell from there. And that's just, I don't know where I was tying that in. Oh, I know where I was tying it in. Skinny. So, where is the lymph system? Interstitial, right? And some, they have found, University of West Virginia, right? Piggybacking the blood vessels. Like it's sucking out the acids out of it. Who knows? Why would you piggyback? Interesting stuff we just don't know. Cool stuff too. So, small intestinal wall. What's it made of? Cells. What's around the cells? Interstitial fluid. What are those fluids? 20% blood, 80% lymph. So what happens when the lymph becomes stagnant? It becomes stagnant where? Interstitially. So that creates malabsorption. So your dog, when you see tumors, you can almost say it's probably malabsorbed, at least some extent, right? And you would be right. So you can just assume your little Bosty has some malabsorption going on. That's why it's important to work on them in this way. You could do get some stomach and bowel number 2 maybe, and open up a capsule, kind of stir it up and just a pinch in the food, just a pinch, and see how that helps her to move. Because ginsen's a really good herb, and to help you, it helps pancreatically and it helps hepatically, liver, but it's also good to tone the bowel wall. Cascara sagrada, the best of all of them in terms of your laxative types. None of them, I don't care what bad rap. We use more herbs than anybody, so I think you can pretty much count on our opinion as being fairly right. And I've always loved Cascara sagrada as a very gentle laxative, and it's non-addicting, especially like your buckthorn, turkey rhubarb. I mean, turkey rhubarb's in Rena Casey's formula, and I didn't like that. It's too much of a purgative. So I'm not about overstimulating things. That's not the answer. True hydration, ionization is the answer. Change your diet back to an alkaline ash forming food diet as your body's designed to eat, and then watch the magic as hydration takes place. Agglomulation, cationicness disappears and replaces it with an anionic, a more fluid environment where everything is starting to move. You're starting to break up. You're loose and not stiff and tight. Cool stuff. Okay, please share any wisdom you may have on this issue. Oh, Kim, you betcha, honey. Absolutely, honey. Let's see. Go take them down that path. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. You might be able to turn that little 12-year-old into a 5-year-old. And this is anonymous. I need some help, please. I just love ice cold water. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. First, let me thank you for everything you are doing for humanity as a whole. We are doing. We, guys. You truly unearth. Oh, thanks. I love you, man. Thanks. Everything you say, physically, mentally, emotionally, and physically resonates with me. Great. Oh, good. Because, it'll help us free ourselves. Even if you keep your body here for a while and you have fun playing here, at least you'll play from a distance and you'll have more fun because you live out of fear and you're just a conscious being. A lot better. I am now 40 years old and have been sick for as long as I can remember. Holy moly, but have been debilitatingly ill for the last 10 years. That's sad, and this story is all over out there, and it's just sickening. I have lost all relationships, both family and friends, as well as career and my dreams. but I will not give up. Yeah! And don't you ever give up. You know what? We'll be right here to help you, dear one. And all the masters to caboot. Let me tell you, when you ask for help, it is there, my dear one. I know you didn't put your name on this. I can imagine. So let's keep reading and see what we find out here. Oh, my God. Yeah. Uh-oh. Sticker on the door. Come see you when I'm done. Okay, I will. Thank you, Shannon. The big Shan. Those girls like to beat me up around here. God. I mean, look at the color shirts they got me wearing. Now, this is the new male color, don't you think? I think so. I love the colors. I've always loved colors, but not so much after the Masters got done with me. I love them even more. Okay, as far back as I can remember, I suffered from disconnection, weakness, exhaustion, and fatigue, disorientation, lung issues, irritability, brain inflammation, retinal detachments, and severe dark depression. Not to mention mystery symptoms. All right. If you stopped right there, I can tell you already. You know, when you're living in a world of darkness, you do not consume darkness, or you cannot pull yourself out of darkness. To pull yourself out of darkness, there's nothing or no one you need to connect to but one. And that's yourself. In the connection of you to yourself, you will pull yourself out of the darkness, out of the drab. To do that, the darkness exists in duality along with the light. And it's our point of view that we choose to look at one side of the force or the other, when really we don't have to look at either one of them except to maneuver ourselves in creation. We are the light. You are the light, the love. You are. You don't just channel it, you are the light. You can channel the darkness if you want. Now the problem with this is the endocrine glands again. Your endocrine glands are basically the energy centers, or they call them chakras sometimes, that matches your subtle bodies. Remember, this is a package deal. You just don't have you're not just soul and a physical body. Not even close to possible. You've got in between you and your physical body, you have a mind and you have your emotional body. You have, well, there's more, but you have basically two other big bodies. The mental body has several components to it. I call the lower causal mind the library mind, but that's where true duality is experienced. The main mental world is the universal mind. So again, this blue area is the universal mind. The violet, for those that are in the I am, all right, the violet, all right, that's your etheric. That is your id. That is the first stage of individualization. You've got to break that stage. When you break that stage, you've made it into pure consciousness. Until then, you're still just the right side of it. Now, to feel disconnected, right here, this disconnects you from everything right here. Your thyroid, parathyroid, depression, calcium utilization, see where I'm going? And then, I don't love myself, I'm not worth anything. I'm not good anymore. No one loves me. Or postpartum depression. All the things that can stir up in women. These darknesses, you must bring light, my dear one, to your endocrine glands. You must bring light to your bodies, and only you can do this. So physically, to bring the light to the body, quit eating cooked dead foods. Quit eating dark foods. Heavy foods are proteins. Those are dark foods. Start eating the light. Start consuming the fruits and the berries and the melons, those things that are light, energetic, that raises your consciousness up. Get yourself moonshine yarrow, flower essences from Running Fox Farms, or any of them. But moonshine yarrow, emergency relief, and start using it. Buy yourself flowers if you don't have a mate. And if your mate isn't buying you flowers, smack them around a little bit or so. Say, honey, you know I love flowers. But it's up to each and every one of us to make our worlds happy and healthy. I'll help you all pull yourself out of the darkness. That's why we're here. But you yourself must pull yourself out of the darkness as well. I'll help pull you out, but you must grab my hand and follow me to pull you out. All right? So, the first order of the day is to start where you're the most awake or aware, and that's probably in the physical world. Not really physical world, physical. You want to get the physical body healthy. That has a huge impact for those that have not learned to detach from the mind and emotions. The body can rake you. So, you want to make it healthy. You want to bring light. Well, what's light? Energy. What's energy? Consciousness. So you want to bring in living food. You don't want to destroy the energy or consciousness of a food. Eat dead food, dead animals, and say, I don't have any energy, I don't have any light. You ain't eating any light. You're eating the things that take away light. And if you had to look at it in chemistry, acids take away the light and base gives it. Electrolytes. It's a funny way of looking at things. But you got to grab your power back in some of these things up and over your endocrine gland, because your glands are down, no question. No question. Is it the pituitary down as well? Now that can be answered through some female questions and things, or through looking at the iridology. If you're not getting rest, take a look at the pineal gland. Look at your animation lifeline, straight up 12 o'clock in the iris. If you've got a lacuna or you've got a radius solaris, that's a problem. That's your main energy line coming into the human body. Upper circumbrain and nerve, upper circumbrain and nerve. Fix these weaknesses in the human body. That will kick back into the etheric, into the causal, and into the astral bodies, and they will pick up. Because remember, you're watching all of this. And as soon as you learn to quit thinking, you'll find yourself back watching all of this. As soon as the more you surrender from watching all of this even, the deeper in the now you go. Pretty cool stuff out there, guys. So depression is definitely parathyroid. Could be pituitary involved as well. You had lung issues. How do you get rid of your lung issues? So lungs, you either got two issues, interstitial or chamber. But if you listen, I can listen to lungs 1 minute. Oh, you're nice and clear. The next minute, wait a minute, I hear some rock and roll in there. What's going on? Interstitial dumping into the chamber. So expect a lot of that. Expect a lot of detoxing like that, where interstitial shoves it out into chambers where you can expectorate it even better. Expect the skin to ooze and sweat. Expect the kidneys to have nasty stinking urine and stuff. These are proteins, so your urine should stink to high heaven as you're detoxing. Get mucus out of your stool and black mucoid plaque out of your stools. Yeah. Orange sulfur? Yeah. So work on all of this. Because, as we were talking about earlier, this lady said, well, I'm so glad you're working on kidneys instead of bowels. But to work on the bowels, you have to work on the kidneys. The kidneys are prima facie. The kidneys are key, along with the adrenal glands. Or you whistle Dixie. I mean, you can clean the canal of your gut, but interstitially you can't. That's the problem. More interstitial. It's easy to clean up the central gut canal. Just eat raw foods. They're self-cleansing. If you hadn't noticed, fruits, berries, melons, and salads are self-cleaning. They clean as they go down. How beautiful is that? Huh? It's only when we got into friggin' starches that stool started sticking, and then we had to have toilet paper If you're a raw foodist and a raw fruit eater, you shouldn't need any toilet paper. There's no residues. Wow. Maybe man's living a lot artificially, huh? Interesting. I have always sought out help and never just accepted this. I tried to find answers conventionally, biologically, naturopathically, that's sad, energetically and spiritually, but you know what? Don't beat yourself up. You know, the journey, this is just a playground. So you're just a bit on a journey to find truth. You know, truth eludes everyone. Well, that's the way God plays the game with itself. It's like the greyhound racing. You keep the rabbit just a little in front of the greyhound. You know, the carrot in front of the nose of a donkey or a horse. That sort of syndrome, you know. But it's also how you play the game, but it's also how you begin to waken up too, you know. Reached out for help, ended up doing what you're going to hear, lightning real quick. That was a pretty strong lightning bolt. I always seem like the complicated case, or the paradoxical case, or the in your head case. Oh, I love that one. Oh, have I ever heard that story? It's in your head. That's why I spent the money to come see you, because it's just in my head. I love that one. That's when you get up and go, you know what? Thanks, I know you couldn't help me. Because I would rather tell you I haven't a clue. But when you understand the lymphatic system runs around every cell from head to toe, that it deals with acids, and acids are inflammatory, agglomerating, and everything else, you start to see the effects of acidosis. Then you start to understand what's going on in the body head to toe. I mean, we're just a simple organism eating the wrong food. We're eating acid ash foods. So we're just set up extreme acidosis. Take a look at everything you see is just simply acidosis in the humans at one level or another. Remember, acute, subacute, chronic, and degenerative. Wow. Pretty good rain. We're in our monsoon season down here in Florida. Okay. I finally let go of putting my power and health in other people's hands. Thank you. And took it into my own and have worked so hard to try and heal myself. And the divine, will lead you to the doors you need. It led you to us. And it will open the doors for you when you let go. See, it's funny, when you're trying to find things, sometimes you can't see truth, so where are you led? You're led mentally. Your own mind leads you. But when you kick back and you let the divine lead you, it takes you right where you need to go. I have tried every modality one can think of and traveled all over using my savings, that's sad, but have not put a dent in making progress. Now I basically am home in my apartment by myself 24/7, trying to find new ways to help through my tears because I refuse to give up. Well, honey, I'll be glad to help you. I'll help you. Okay? But I want you to take advantage of where you are right now. I want you to take advantage of your aloneness. Because it is in that alone state that you find the ultimate. It's not in the many. It's in the one. And it's through the one that you find the many. So to find the one, simply look to yourself because you are part of the one. You don't look to the mind. You don't look to the emotions. You don't look to that which is limited. You look to that which is unlimited. You don't look to the finite. You look for that that's the infinite. So you take this time because that alone truly exists. Each and every one of you are alone in your own beingness. And you always will be alone in your beingness. Take away your physical body, you're still alone in your beingness. Take away your astral body, you're still alone in your beingness. Take away your mental bodies, you're still alone in your beingness. Pull you back into consciousness, you're in the extreme alone. And then you know why there's creation. But in that aloneness is all the joy, the happiness. It's hard to explain. You think here that happiness is in something else. Happiness is in another individual. Happiness is having a good mate, a soul mate. No such thing. Happiness is having a nice new car, a nice boat. No such thing. None of this brings anybody happiness, does it? Only yourself can bring you true happiness. Then you can enjoy the boat, the car, or the mate at a level you've never enjoyed it before, because you're not tied to it emotionally. It doesn't own you anymore. You own yourself. That's the only thing you have when you got here anyway. You came alone, right? Unless you're a twin, but you still came alone, even as a twin. So just remember that. Don't ever be afraid of that alone state. Take this opportunity that you have in this apartment and get into yourself. Learn how to stop thinking and embrace yourself. Not mentally, not emotionally, just in beingness. Just to look at the beauty of how everything is. The fact that there's an awareness to yourself. Take this opportunity to enjoy the alone state, and it will catapult you into the Godhead.
Well, yes.
The fatigue is so bad that it's difficult for me to stand. Well, you've been through hell. So it's enough to say that you probably have adrenals that are down, your thyroid's probably down. So those two are your main energy glands. So, boom. So you want to pick that up. You can pick all this up with foods, of course, and herbs. But something's telling me you need to pick this up on another level. You need to accept the beauty of yourself, because you're a beautiful soul here, obviously. You're a truth seeker. You're a truth seeker living in a world of chaos and unconsciousness. And you're trying to find the truth of it, as is so many others. You look no further than the self to find that truth, because you will look external to yourself forever. Remember, the seeker of God never finds God. Okay, so you got to go after the adrenals. I'd recommend 400 milligrams. I mean, you need a protocol. So I'd recommend 400 milligrams of the adrenal glandular on top of a full bore program, going in and going after this. Go after the fungus in your body. Go after all these, because you can have depression from high fungal problems. So when you're going into the body, you're going into it. This no more. Well, let's just take a little of this. Maybe we'll take a little licorice, or maybe we'll take a little poke root or something. Hell no. I mean, you open the door and jump in, baby, and get something done. And then, when you're on the other side of it, we can sit around and dance and play the flute under the full moon. So, you probably have fatigue from adrenals, fatigue from thyroid, and fatigue from where? Fungus. Yeah, not to mention thinking or concentrating, and that can be acidosis and or fungus. So, what are we going to do? You've got to move your lymphatic system. I can't say it enough on these videos. This is one system everybody misses because they miss the skin and kidney connection of it, and that's where they're having all these problems. And then from there you bump into the ovaries or the prostate, uterine, and it just goes all over. So you can fix all this. My nervous system is totally shot, which means your adrenals are shot. Which nervous system? You got the autonomic and the central. Need a picture of your eyes, but my guess your autonomic is pretty wrecked. You've been through hell with your mates and stuff like this, and you've lost your friends and stuff because you've been sick and trying to get well. And sometimes it'll turn you into a crazy person. People see you as crazy. And a lot of husbands, for the females, a lot of husbands get tired because their wives are always chasing practitioners and always sick. That's a sad one to me, because, and this is another reason that I train you guys. We don't want that anymore. You know, the last thing a female or a male needs when they're down and out and dying or very sick and in pain is their mate coming down on them. But there's not enough understanding in life. Even the children are wearing out the parents. There's one lady we had to call the cops on. She wanted to kill her daughter, and I actually didn't blame her. But I didn't blame the daughter either. Couldn't help it. It's pharmaceutical driven. Seizures, cerebral palsies, things like this crap. But go in, brain and nerve and upper circulation, highly recommend those two for all the reasons that were described. But also get into the kidneys, get yourself filtering, pee in a jar. You're filtering, kick it up another notch. You want to walk amongst the living, eat living food. If you want to feel dead and bloaty and lack of energy, eat cooked dead food. Law of physics. That's all that is. And of course, you're rearranging the chemistry, so you're not getting the chemistry anymore that nature provided. It's augmented. It becomes agglomerated. Walking is very hard to do because my body just needs to lay down. Yeah, you need some rest, and let me tell you, this is not going to be pleasant for you. Maybe it'll change if you can get this fungus out of you, but you could get more tired yet. That's why you need to hit yourself with 400 milligrams of adrenal, raw adrenal glandular. At the same time, I'd probably add adrenal formula. If your blood pressure is insanely low, add licorice root. Licorice root is the one herb we can grab to get our blood pressure up when we need it. And remember the pulses over the wrist. You know, your adrenal glands, you put your 3 fingers right over your pulse line here and hold it until you feel your pulse getting stronger and stronger, and then you'll be able to breathe better. You'll feel that nerve kick up. But you need neurotransmitters from the adrenal glands, and so you have to go after those adrenal glands. But check that pituitary. The depression is so severe that I feel like there's no joy or happiness in my heart. Parathyroid, your endos are down. Probably pituitary as well. If you have insomnia, you know the pituitary is down. So for insomnia, you want to get on the pineal glandular. 1 or 2 capsules, 1 or 2 hours before sleep is what I would do. But you want to go after this dear one. And also, I just have a feeling you're full of fungus, and you want to go after that as well. I'm not a fungal person in terms of that, blaming it for everything, but there are some times we get full of fungus and stuff. It hurts deeply. I don't feel love anymore. We'll get you there. We'll get you there, honey. Just relax right now. Pull yourself back. Enjoy yourself as we enjoy you. I can't feel God. This is more devastating than illness itself, because I know it is a lie. But this is what the depression and fatigue can cause. Oh yeah, of course, absolutely can. It ostracizes you. It takes you away from that which is whole. Yeah. These two together are thieves. I have worked so hard to regain my health, trying to rebuild my gut from years of antibiotic. Oh. See, here we go, years of antibiotic use. So my guess is you're heavily fungal up. Heavily. So I would do the Parasite M at least 2 dropperfuls, 3-4 times a day for at least a month or 2. At least. At the same time, you got to go after the lymphatic system, the kidneys, the adrenals, go after your parathyroid. I'd do the parathyroid glandulars. I think you need to have one of us write you a protocol. I did, when I was thumbing, did I see Marcy's name back here? Prior to that, they told me I was bipolar, so keep feeding my every kind of drug until I said enough was enough and weaned myself off of everything 10 years ago, smart woman. So have been trying to detox these toxins. But that was when everything came crushing down and became debilitated. Well, you know, you stir up a hornet's nest, you stir up a hornet's nest. But you know what? You got to learn proper detox, sweetheart, and go right through it. Go. Don't look backwards. Keep going. Marcy will help you get you through this. She's unbelievable. She's kicking butt all over the place. But it's easy to kick butt when you understand truth, isn't it? Yeah. Dr. Morse, I am very good, smart, determined, creative, driven, intuitive, spiritual man. Oh, it's a man. And I feel like I am being kept prisoner by whatever is going on. Good man, a good spiritual man here. Boy, my friend, you really got to power up. Yeah. I just doesn't know what to do and am losing steam doing this on my own. Well, now you relax. You don't have to be on your own anymore. You've contacted us. We hear you. So just relax. Get on your raw foods. Get on an herbal program. Marcy got an appointment with her, you said, on August 8th. So she'll put you on the right protocol. I wouldn't wait. I'd start on the first phase, get your worms out of you, get your deworm yourself, get on the first kit, because she's going to put you on that anyway if you haven't already used it, and get on it. And keep on that parasite in right on through. Keep on the kidneys, keep on the adrenals. You know what you're going after. Know what you're going, even with Marcy and all of us helping you guys, know what you're doing. Don't buy, you're doing. That way you have a knowingness. You're not relying on putting your life in someone else's hands. That never works. Put it in your own hands. I know you're down, and let me feed you some energy. You can get over this now. I want to work and enjoy life and relationships and God and help humanity with the mission of God. I can only work very little at home. Don't worry about that, honey. All I can do for joy is work on my book dedicated to overcoming obstacles. That's what you want to work on. Let us do the rest for you. I mean, you got to do the diet and everything. Presently, I've turned to all fruit except for some raw veggies. Thank you. And can really only afford the heal all tea as of now, just due to my financial issues. On 2 cups a day, I will be a week. I want you to talk to Jen B. I got a little surprise for you. Damn. I started the first day I saw your videos. Good deal, man. I am still having 1 cup of coffee in the AM. I am Italian, so it is hard to, I bet it is. What about the wine? What about the cheese? You know, wine and cheese too. I'm glad you got rid of those. Well, at least the cheese. I'm also reading your book and watching everything I can. If you have any insight, I would be infinitely grateful. Oh, you betcha, man. I have an appointment scheduled with Marcy on August 8th. I have every test imaginable to send, but fortunately cannot afford to really do any one that would be more recent. Well, you know what? Don't worry about it. I'll get with Marcy on your case, and matter of fact, I'm going to get with Jen B on your case here in a minute. I love your determination, bro, but I will always find a way. You know, that's the determination. That's the spiritual side you're looking for. I'll get you to feeling God again, man. Thank you again for being the first. Ah, you betcha. I love you, man. Okay? Don't make me cry. Love you. We'll take care of you. Okay? All right, let's do one more. Then I'll be back this week. Wow. This is Lori. My name is Lori, and I am currently studying naturopath. I want to thank Dr. Morse for everything and all the wonderful health and info he shares. I've learned so much from him. Good sweetheart. I am so glad that you're taking naturopathic. I'll be glad when our school's up and running. You want a good school, and I'll make sure that it is at half what these other schools are, one way or another. I'm about learning, and we don't fail anybody ever. We want you to know and learn what you're doing, because it's vital to this world. It's vital to the self and your survival. So absolutely. So learn everything. Learn the truth of naturopathy here, and then when you go to naturopathic school, you'll have all the students coming to you. Marcy went to naturopathic school here not too long ago. She finished up. I think she's into naturopathic animals now or something. But when she finished her first thing, most of the students are coming to her, asking her questions. And they're in her naturopathic school, which is more of a Christian naturopathic school. They told her the parathyroid is inconsequential. What? You have to realize that these schools just don't have a lot of the truth. Get what you can out of it. Get your credentials if you want, but learn the truth, and you'll be the best naturopath out there. You know. You guys are already acting like naturopaths anyway. You're already curing up people. What more do you want? And you don't have to go to the expense and all the study to do it. You guys are incredible. My question is, I recently read a theory that certain adaptogens used for adrenal support actually stimulate the adrenals and may lead to more fatigue or an adrenal crash at some point. If used too much or too long, what are his thoughts on this? Well, I suppose so. I mean, we've got no, I don't know if I agree with that one. Because I tell you why. Our endocrine gland tonic is adaptogens. Now, these are tonics. And adaptogens are tonics that just seem to be able to interface with all types of conditions, but that are strengthening to the human body. And to me, they're not stimulants, they're strengtheners. And a good example would be Panax ginseng. To me, it's not so much a stimulant, it's a strengthener of core energy. When you say a stimulant, you wouldn't be able to live longevity with the ginsengs like your Chinese guy of 256 years old and stuff. A lot of longevity associated with tonics of ginseng and foti and things like that. I love your tonics. I do think tonics are strong herbs. They're hot. They tend to be hot herbs. They tend to be more acidic that way, and they're more heat-producing herbs. So in one way, I can see that taking tonics for a long term would be, but they're designed to take long term. A tonic isn't designed to give you an immediate cure of something. They're designed to build and to build and to build strength in the human body. So, I don't know, I disagree with what they're saying here with stimulants, with adaptogens and things like that. But when you're doing this properly, I want you to think about this. Think about what a reverse pyramid would look like, a pyramid upside down, all right? So, this is how I go after my clients. I go after you like crazy at first. I'm going to open all the doors. I'm going to put so much energy and consciousness in your body that it's going to force it to move. But as I move you down the road, I'm getting less. I'm taking off this. I'm taking a liver gallbladder. I'm taking off this. I'm taking off that. And pretty soon I'll have you down to the basic things you need for the lymphatic system or whatever else that you might have that's essential. So you might see a lot at first, but my whole goal is to go down, and then you just exist on things. You can take tonics for years. People do. And I have no evidence of overstimulation of adrenals or anything like that whatsoever. So I don't know. I don't have that problem in this world, of my world, the overstimulation of adrenals. It could be done, but so many people are in the chronic levels of adrenals, and they're so big in terms of glands and powerful. I don't know, but good question for sure. Good question for sure. But and maybe certain adaptogens are more stimulant in natures, but adaptogens aren't supposed to be stimulants. That's under its own category. Adaptogens are tonics, supposed to be. Now this is Jay. I'll do another one. What the heck? It's raining real hard. Hello, I am dealing with candida in my throat and oral thrush. Jay, it's probably going to be all through you. I mean, it's never just here because we're interstitial. We're head to toe. We're systemic. So you can just about guess it's all through your gut and through your body. I switched over to a raw food diet, mainly fruit, some greens, but I keep seeing online that an alkalizing environment is eventually one that candida thrives in. Is this true or false? Holy crap. You know, there's always something out there, don't you think, guys? So, blood is a dominant alkaline environment. Would that be true? God made the blood a dominant alkaline environment. So what this person's saying is that because the blood is an alkaline dominant, the blood is just going to be nothing but a fungal nest. Give me a break. Fungus is a microbe, guys. It's dealing in the fermentation or the breakdown to carbon. So it's dealing in fermentation of carbon and the sugars in the body. And you see that even you have carbon all through you. Main structure is nitrogen, but still. So you got to understand what you're talking about when you say candida. This is a single-celled organism involved in the fermentation process, the breaking down of sugars. I mean, of carbohydrates. As bacteria is good for proteins and metals and things like that. It's just like how you ferment beer. You ferment is to break down. And so when you are not, here's a good one for you. How about those that are not have low cortisol or low insulin for that matter, and you run higher blood sugars? Or you're not metabolizing your blood sugar. So if you're not metabolizing your blood sugar, what are you going to see? Fermentation. And when you ferment your sugars, all your diabetics are full of fungus. Big time. Big time. You can't, this is all about improper fermentation. And people love fermented foods. Breads, cheeses, yogurts. These are all fermented foods. Remember our little analogy? You put some grapes on your counter of your kitchen. You put a piece of bread and a piece of cheese. Which one goes mold first? Okay, these are already fermented foods. So they're involved. Candida is involved in fermentation. In fermentation, detox them out of the body. You're going to be good. But you have to have a base dominant environment. I don't know if your lymph system ever becomes alkaline, but you certainly has to be close to neutral because of so much systemic acids coming into that system. You have to have a high amount of alkali. So you have to have some, because these are wastes. Wastes are not meant to be converted back to alkalis or in any way convert. You're now looking toward the removal of acids back down into the subatomic, into the atomic and subatomic particles. Now, that's where you get into the fungus and you get into the bacteriums. It's like that bodies farm up here, that works with looking at how the body degrades and all of that. I mean, it's just a natural process. So, most humans are dying inside, guys. They're full of putrefaction and fermentation. They're eating dead animals, fungal foods, and we like that. Some people do, not this man. So, totally disagree. You have to have an alkaline environment. If you don't, you only have two environments, guys. You either have a dominant acidic environment or a dominant alkaline environment, right? So if you have a dominant acid environment, what does that breed you? Absolutely, everything you see out there called diseases. That's where your fungus grows. That's where everything grows, not your alkali environment. Although carbohydrates are alkaline dominant because they're electrolyte dominant. Can I see where I'm kind of going there? So I'll come back and I'll finish these up, but I've got a concerned friend. We better read this. Okay. This is from a concerned friend. My friend was recently diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. He is doing this detox and his MD told him he was very concerned and wants him to stop participating in the cleanse. Oh, really? You know what, Mr. Medical Doctor, you need to cleanse yourself. Matter of fact, it might help to expand your brain power a little bit. No offense, but when you come in and say crap like that, he doesn't understand what detox is at all. These guys have bizarre understandings of these things for some reason. I don't know where they get their information. WebMD. Does anyone have any experience with this? Of course we do. What are you talking about? Type 2 diabetes? If any of you guys can't help someone overcome type 2 diabetes, there's something wrong with you. That's about as easy as it gets. That and high blood pressure, those are two easy things on the planet. And where are we? Where are we with what they call type 2? Where are we? We're actually at sugar metabolism, so where are we? We're at the adrenal glands. We're also at the adrenal glands on type 1. Don't ever miss that one. But especially type 2, that's the adrenal glands. That's cortisol levels. That's your adrenal glands. right? So, how do you weaken the adrenal glands? Well, you could have genetic weakness in the adrenal glands, right? Well, how do you get a genetic weakness in the adrenal glands? You ever like to ask why? So it takes you all the way back to the type of food you're eating, the acid ash foods, the acid buildup in the body, and you're going back generations and generations. Small tornado. Wow. Wow. That looks like a small little tornado we got out there. Everything's going sideways. Even the trees. Well, if I see a dog flying through the air or something, I know we're in trouble. Cars are out there down to nothing. These are easier cases. This medical doctor doesn't know he's but from a hole in the ground. You know, if you have any type of sugar problems, what's the one food you want to avoid? There's two foods you want to avoid. Starch, right? That's complex sugar. Sucrose, dextrose, maltose. Those are grains, right? Right. Proteins. Make your blood avoid proteins because they create acid ash. You want to get rid of acid ash foods, get into the alkaline ash foods, and start regenerating your body. Get your kidneys filtering so you can clean the adrenals. Get yourself on an adrenal formula, either an herbal or glandular. Depends where his blood pressure is going, because he's going to end up with all the things that deal with that. You know, when you see the things that deal with type 2, just put yourself back and deal with things that happen with adrenal failure and kidney failure, which reaches everywhere, literally. And these are easy cases to clean up, let me tell you. But you want them on a raw food diet, and you want them on fruits. What diet would that medical doctor prefer this young man or lady to be on? Oh, breads, grains. It's like, what? So, if the medical doctor just stay out of the health of everything would be good. If you have a disease and you want to treat it, go up and knock on their door. If you understand that you don't have a disease and you understand the truth of what your problem is, then come knock on our door, someone on the YouTube here. But you don't have to be too concerned. If I'm concerned, I'd be concerned about going to a medical doctor that hasn't got the awareness in today's world. That's a medical doctor that doesn't follow anything. Tell him to watch at least Dr. Oz. Tell him to turn on the channel to Dr. Oz, and they took all those 12 people to the zoo and everybody ate raw foods for a week or two. Remember that? The first time we all heard the name Dr. Oz. And what did their stats do? And that's all this guy's on is a raw food diet. That's all same thing Dr. Oz put everybody on. Of course, he's following our programs. Then, what's the herbs for? Is the medical doctor scared of herbs? You know what's funny? To see a medical doctor scared of herbs. Yet those guys will play with these toxic pharmaceuticals. Are you kidding me? Show me someone that died from the use of herbs. Factually died from the use of herbs. And how many die daily from the use of pharmaceuticals? 0 on the herbs. Daily, we're still in the millions. Don't be concerned. Be concerned about the medical doctor being too stupid and not allowing this individual to find his remedy, putting lies in his head, fear in his head. Yeah, forget that. I mean, anyone that thinks eating a cooked food diet is better than the raw food, except for the macrobiotics, who have no understanding of that at all, because they're fixated on vegetables, and of course vegetables are hard for the human to digest. Of course, wrong food for the species. No, when I was in Lisbon, we had yearly symposiums. I was the guest speaker for the United States, and we had macrobiologists famous all around the world there. Never thought any of them looked dynamic and healthy and vital. Skin was charky gray, like they were dying, and like I'm going, you guys need to hook up with the fruitarian level of thinking. We say yes. Wait a minute, that's give me an F, give me an R, give me a fruitarian. No. All right, this is Ernest Atwood. What causes a sudden increase in blood pressure for prolonged periods? Well, either something with the kidney or something back of the head. You either get pressure in the back of the head here, or you got something with the kidneys. Matter of fact, if you have blood pressure problems, check your blood pressure before and after you eat, and watch what you eat when you do it, and see the difference of what foods gives you a blowback on your blood pressure and what foods don't. Lasting several days so far after having a regular normal to low blood pressure, and how can I correct it? Well, here's the scary thing. When I say high, I mean 148 to 154 over 90 to 102. That's a little high. Not crazy high, but we got crazy high. You know, we have 220 over 150. That's crazy high. Now, this is not crazy high, but you're going to go into your kidneys. That's for sure. For either blood pressure problem, right? You're going to go in your kidneys. That relieves systemic pressure. That leaves kidney pressure. That's your diastolic is kidney pressure. That relieves that, and that's your 90 to 100. That's pushing your, I wouldn't even think about the systolic. That's your adrenal glands. The kidneys control that. So you get those kidneys filtering that'll pull that pressure out of those adrenals, and everything will start going down. And that's what you want. So you want to get on 2 kidney formulas, an endocrine gland formula, maybe an adrenal formula, whatever. Go after your bowels. Start opening, hydrating, you know, all of that sort of thing. Now, there is one other place we talked about. Cerebellum, back of the head, swinging blood pressure. You start getting pressure back here, not good. I say not very good. Because that's equilibrium, dizzy, vertigo, drop feet, you know, that's all kinds of nasties. That's MS, Parkinson's, Lou Gehrig type symptoms. So not a good place to have anything like that. But the kidneys are the clue to that too, because that's the lymph system and the kidneys control it. So any way you shake this, you're going to work on your kidneys and adrenals, my man. All right? Thanks, Ernest. Appreciate it. Get raw. Get raw. All right, we did pretty good. We did a couple hours, I think. So that's pretty good. Wait a minute. We did good. But I love you guys, and you guys are really doing well. The knowledge you guys are getting, I see it from letters that I'm getting from you guys and all kinds of testimonials and thank yous, and I love it. And you guys, I love you guys. This is something else. Rita, all you guys, just incredible. Incredible. This is how we wake up a sleeping world. A world that's very unhappy, a world that's constipated, and a world that can't get out of itself. And you guys are the golden key to this. Remember that. You guys bring the light to this world, and never forget that. Who you are. And spend time in that apartment alone. Get into that alone state, and you might meet some interesting things there. Love you guys. Namaste.